Shout out your rage. I'll bite his swag. Let's get into it.
The 2000 NFL season opened with the league.
I know a decent amount about the NFL, though. I know.
Fading. John Elway had retired. Barry Sanders got sick of the Lions, and the Cowboys dynasty was collapsing as their stars aged out. The greatest show on turf had dazzled the year before, but as the millennium turned, aside from Peyton Manning, it wasn't clear who the NFL's next great star or team was supposed to be. This was the year where the saying, defense wins championships, really was true.
Yeah.
The Baltimore Ravens in particular went 5 straight games mid-season without
Shout out
scoring a single
Ravens,
offensive touchdown and still finished 12-4. Quarterback was irrelevant. Trent Dilfer was really just asked to maintain a pulse and exist while Ray Lewis and company did the heavy.
I'm gonna keep it a buck. Let's really think about how ass the offense had to be. Defense literally scored every single touchdown for a season. That is great. Offense has to be crazy ass. Every touchdown. Offense has to be a different level of ass, bro.
Lifted. They allowed only 165 points all season, or only 10.3 points per game, an NFL record for a 16-game schedule. The Titans, who had come a yard short of a title the year before, were out for revenge and finished 13-3. In the AFC West, the Raiders were back from the dead with Rich Gannon slinging the ball and John Gruden
I never heard of this Rich Gannon guy,
one of the
bro.
game's best offensive minds. Even the Dolphins were relevant, leaning on a gritty defense and Jay Fiedler doing just enough to not sink the team.
The Dolphins
Over in the
Dolphins
NFC,
ass.
Marshall Faulk won MVP.
Okay,
the
Marshall
Vikings
Faulk.
started 7-0 behind Dante Culpepper's breakout and Randy Moss catching touchdown bombs on a routine basis, but the wheels fell off in December. The Bucs were menacing on defense. The Saints shocked everyone by going 10-6, winning their first ever playoff game. And
10-6,
then there were the Giants,
crazy.
quietly going 12-4 behind a revived Kerry Collins, a bruising run game, and a nasty front seven. In the playoffs, the Ravens plowed through Denver, Tennessee, and finally the Raiders in the AFC title game, roughing up Rich Gannon early and beating Oakland into submission. The NFC Championship was something else entirely. A 41.
Let's really think, bro, about how good the Ravens were. Bro, about how good the Ravens are, but the Ravens have always been a good team, bro. The Ravens have always been a good-ass team, bro. Facts.
Demolition job as the Giants embarrassed the Vikings in one of the strangest, most lopsided games ever played that deep into January. And Super Bowl 35 was also a massacre. One of those awful games like Super Bowl 48, the Giants' offense did nothing. Their lone touchdown came on a kick return, immediately followed by a Baltimore kick return touchdown of their own. The Ravens dominated 34-7 in a game that looked over by the third quarter. The Giants fell off. Ray Lewis won Super Bowl MVP. The Ravens proved you apparently didn't need a quarterback, just arguably the greatest defense of all time and a kicker. But the 2001 NFL season began with a sense of anticipation. The St. Louis Rams, still boasting the greatest show on turf, were expected to dominate, while the league's unusual 31-team format, introduced in 1999, was entering its final year before full realignment. However, the events of September 11th cast a shadow over the season. The NFL...
Yo, what is AFC, NFC, like what are those? What does that mean? What does AFC mean? All finals, conferences, East. I don't know, bro. I can't tell you, bro.
Fell pause for a week, and when play resumed, football became a symbol of unity and resilience. The league's return was marked by patriotic displays, with players and fans honoring first responders and victims alike. But the Rams lived up to expectations, finishing 14-2 with Kurt Warner leading the league in passing yards and earning MVP honors. Marshall Faulk continued to be a dual threat, securing the Offensive Player of the Year award. In the AFC, the Pittsburgh Steelers emerged as a powerhouse,
Fuck the Steelers,
finishing 13-3 with a dominant defense. Yet the most compelling story unfolded in New England. After starting quarterback Drew Bledsoe suffered a serious injury in Week 2, unheralded backup Tom Brady stepped in. Under head coach Bill Belichick's guidance, Brady led the...
Tom, bro, let's talk about it. Michigan Demon. Let's talk about it, bro. Tom most slept on, bro. I mean, not now, but bro, when the name was coming up, slept on, hated on, bro. Nobody wanted him. Now look at the boy. Look at the boy. Look at him. Look at him now.
Patriots to an 11-5 record, showcasing poise and efficiency. But the playoffs brought drama and controversy. In the AFC divisional round, the Patriots faced the Oakland Raiders in the snowstorm in Foxborough. With under 2 minutes remaining and trailing by 3, Brady appeared to fumble after a hit by Charles Woodson. However, officials invoked the obscure tuck rule, ruling it an incomplete pass.
Yo, am I the only one that never understood what the fuck the tuck rule means? It's like it exists, and I don't think it exists no more. But like sometimes, like in games, like during middle school and shit, they'd be like, "Yo, tuck rule, da da da. That's not a fumble." I don't understand at all.
Patriots retained possession, tied the game with a field goal, and then won it in overtime. This game, later dubbed the tuck rule game, became a pivotal moment in NFL history. In the NFC, the Rams continued their dominance, while the Chicago Bears surprised many by finishing 13-3 under coach of the year.
Last time the Bears were good.
And the playoffs culminated in Super Bowl 36, where the underdog Patriots faced the Rams. Employing a strategic game plan, the Patriots defense stifled the Rams' high-powered offense. With the game tied in the final minutes, Brady orchestrated a drive that set up Adam Vinatieri's game-winning 48-yard field goal as time expired. The Patriots secured their first Super Bowl title with a 20-17 victory.
That's gotta be
The Patriots' triumph marked the beginning of a dynasty, with Brady and Belichick leading the team to multiple championships in the following year.
Yo, this is really before I was born, for real. Like when I really think about it, I'm really such a YB, bro. I'm a young bastard. I'm a young bug.
The tuck rule controversy spurred debates about officiating and was eventually abolished in 2013. The Rams, despite their talent, broke down after this season, with Warner falling victim to injury and poor performance. The 2001 season signaled a new era in the NFL. But the 2002 season marked the NFL's long overdue leap into symmetry. The league officially expanded to 32 teams with the arrival of the Houston Texans, prompting a full realignment into 8 4-team divisions.
The Texans are
It was a
something
clean
else.
slate, and every division now had a proper rival
Can't wait till they get good.
And the playoff format was updated to reflect the new structure. But while the league map got organized, the season itself descended into disorder. There were only 2 or 3 really good teams. Other than that, mostly parity and surprise contenders rising up.
Yo, do niggas still do that shit to this day? Like, do niggas like still put on face paint and all the little necklaces and like all that shit for football games still? Cause I've never seen that shit. No, I haven't ever been to an NFL game, no. But I've never seen that shit before.
Out of nowhere. It felt like every team had flaws, and the Super Bowl matchup was going to be somewhat random. But let's start in the NFC South. A brand new division where the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, under new head coach John Gruden, combined a Hall of Fame defensive core with an offensive genius. Gruden had been traded from the Raiders to the Bucs in one of the weirdest coach for pick swaps ever, and he would make it personal. The Bucs defense was hell on wheels. Warren Sapp, Derek Brooks, who won Defensive Player of the Year, Rondé Barber, and John Lynch. On offense, Brad Johnson wasn't good, but he was good enough, which was all they needed. Tampa finished 12-4 and won the South handily. Over in the AFC, Rich Gannon was playing the best football of his life for the Raiders. He threw for nearly 4,700 yards on his way to the MVP award, and the Raiders were one of the few offenses that looked like it had a plan. They earned the number 1 seed and looked poised for a long run. This is why I believe spiral doesn't matter. Y'all seen how he's throwing. His spiral is wobbly and all of that. Well, they saw what
but
was
it does, okay,
at the end.
That's a good, no, that ball was spinning. That ball was turning and shit. It's not about the spiral, bro. I'm telling you, though. The spiral doesn't, I could throw you a ball that's fucking spinning every which way, but besides the way it's supposed to be spinning. And if you catch that shit, you catch that shit. It's the receiver's problem.
The rest of the league was wild.
Donovan McNabb.
The Jets started 1-3, benched Vinny Testaverde, and then rode Chad Pennington to a division title. The Falcons made the playoffs behind a 22-year-old Michael Vick, who lit up Lambeau Field and handed the Packers their first ever home playoff loss.
Mike Vick a dog. Mike Vick a dog.
A massive lead in the wild card round against the 49ers in one of the craziest comebacks in postseason history, and the Steelers were patching together quarterback with Cordell Stewart and Tommy Maddox. Sound familiar? But in the end, it came down to Gruden versus his old team. Super Bowl 37 was expected to be close. The Raiders were actually favored, but Gruden had basically installed the Raiders' offense in Oakland and still knew all of their calls. Tampa's defense picked off Rich Gannon 5 times, returning 3 of them for touchdowns in a 48-21 beatdown. The Bucks
Damn.
finally got their ring, and their defense was immortalized. Gruden got revenge in the best way possible, and the Raiders completely imploded, becoming the incompetent franchise we've been used to for 2 decades. 2002 was the year the
Yo,
league...
imagine 2002, the last time that your team was good. Yo, it's been over 22 years, my nigga. And your team is still ass. Don't get me wrong, they got Brock Bowers, they got Ashton Genty. It's just, what are they going to do with them? We have to see how they're used. I'm not gonna lie.
realigned, and everything orderly got thrown out the window.
Shout out Bo
But
Jackson.
in 2003, certain teams were starting to separate themselves. The league was entering its golden age of quarterback play, but it was also the year when defense and special teams slammed the door shut more often than not. It was a season full of cardiac finishes and last-second kicks. And at the
Fuck is
center
a
of it all,
cardiac
the
finish?
Patriots, who had missed the playoffs in 2002, were back. And this time, for good. But let's start with the co-MVPs. Peyton Manning and Steve McNair shared the award. Manning threw for over
Air
4,200
McNair!
yards and led one of the most explosive offenses in the league. McNair, battling through injuries, gutted out the pain and carried the Titans to 12 wins. Jamal Lewis carried the Ravens offense, rushing for over 2,000 yards. In Kansas City, Priest Holmes scored 27 total touchdowns and looked like the new version of Emmitt Smith.
Well,
The
that's
Chiefs started
swag.
9-0, but their defense couldn't stop a nosebleed. In Green Bay, Brett Favre dealt with the passing of his father, then delivered one of the most emotional performances ever, throwing 4 first-half touchdowns on Monday Night Football against the Raiders, in a game where he quite literally played like a man possessed. Meanwhile, the Panthers were quietly building something terrifying in Carolina. They won 7 games by 3
Panthers!
points or less and became appropriately nicknamed the Cardiac Cats. Jake Delhomme had taken over for Rodney Peete mid-game in Week 1.
That's just like, yo, the Panthers. When was the last time y'all heard a nigga talk about the Panthers? Last time I heard a nigga talk about the Panthers was when Christian McCaffrey was on the Panthers. They are so ass now. Holy smokes. Yo, they are another level of ass. Yeah, I'm gonna keep it a buck. It's like when you get to a certain point, you just like ass. It's like you ass. These niggas is ass, bro. Like, that shit bad. Shit scary, spooky, bro.
And never looked back. Stephen Davis and a young Steve Smith Sr. carried the offense.
Steve
and their
Smith
defense,
Sr. was
led by
nice.
Chris Jenkins, was an above-average unit. In the AFC, the Patriots were back with a vengeance. After going 9-7 in 2002, they began the season 2-2, but did not lose again. Tom Brady earned some MVP votes for the first time. Their defense was the best in the league, and Adam Vinatieri was a sniper. The playoffs gave us thrillers. The Colts dropped 41
Reggie
on the
Wayne?
Broncos. The Titans edged the Ravens in a barn burner. The Panthers beat the Rams in double overtime on a walk-off
Did he edge
69-yard
it?
Steve Smith touchdown, and the AFC title game was a Brady Manning showdown. New England 24, Indy 14.
Damn.
Manning threw 4 picks and was schooled by Belichick's defense. And Super Bowl 38 was Patriots
Yo,
Panthers.
imagine what it's like versing like Tom Brady in his peak, bro. Yo, that must have been a hell. Don't get me wrong. Manning nice, bro. Both of the Mannings are nice. Well, all like 4 of them is nice. However many of them niggas it is. Shout out Arch Manning. Them niggas is nice. I think it's a blood thing. But Tom Brady, bro, like, I don't, it's something different, but like, there's a reason why he's the GOAT. You feel me? Like, there's a reason why. Like, the nigga's a different level of good.
A gritty defensive first half turned into an all-time.
No, he didn't do it
fourth
by
quarter.
himself, though. Don't
They
get me wrong. He did not do it by
37
himself.
points in the final 15 minutes. Vinatieri, of course, ended it with a game winner from 41 yards out with 4 seconds left to make it Patriots 32, Panthers 29. The Patriots were officially building a dynasty. Jake Delhomme became a household name, and the Brady-Manning rivalry was just beginning. And by
Yo, I ain't
2004,
gonna lie. Brady would have, or nah, Manning would have so much or if the nigga had a chin.
and the Brady
Look at this, no chin of death. Holy shit. Holy fucking smokes, dude. Shit, I'm like barber. Holy shit, no beard either. The nigga did no chin, no beard. This nigga's wildin'. Any nigga that don't got a chin out there makes you get a beard, bro. This shit crazy. Shit wicked.
Manning rivalry was just beginning.
Nigga look like the dad on
And by
King of the Hill.
2004, the NFL had fully embraced the quarterback era. The days of smash mouth, run it 40 times a game football weren't necessarily gone, but they were on the way out. Passing stats exploded. Fantasy football became a bigger part of the culture, and every Sunday was a stage for elite quarterbacks to shred. But amid all the aerial fireworks, there was still one team that refused to play by the rules. But the MVP race was no race at all. Peyton Manning threw 49 touchdowns, breaking Dan Marino's long-standing record. The Colts offense became
49?
a well-oiled machine thanks to precision passing and Peyton Manning's pre-snap genius. Reggie Wayne, Marvin Harrison, and Brandon Stokely all had over 1,000 yards and 10 scores. In Philadelphia, after 3 straight NFC Championship losses, Donovan McNabb finally got the superstar receiver to put them over the top. Terrell Owens, as polarizing as he was, changed everything. McNabb set career highs across the board. T.O. was electric, dancing his way into the end zone week after week. The Eagles stormed to 13 wins and looked like...
Yo, imagine being so nice you changed the game. Oh my God. I just wait till niggas hear about how Jerry Rice was. Niggas don't even understand. Jerry Rice one of the best receivers to this day, bro. Like, bro, footwork to hand, like his hands, his feet, his speed, his strength. He was kind of like a hybrid receiver that any team could use him. Like he could fit in any scheme, bro. The nigga was so good.
A team built to win it all. But the scariest team in the league was not making the flashy headlines. The New England Patriots, fresh off a Super Bowl win in 2003, didn't skip a beat. Newcomer Corey Dillon gave them a true power run game.
Well, I never heard of Cuz.
1,635 yards. Tom Brady wasn't throwing for 4,000 yards and 40 touchdowns just yet, but he didn't need to. His pocket presence, decision-making, and killer instinct were all on display. And the defense, led by Richard Seymour, Teddy Bruschi, and Rodney Harrison, was as disciplined as ever. Over in Pittsburgh, a rookie named Ben Roethlisberger took over after Tommy Maddox got hurt. And not only did Big Ben keep the Steelers afloat, Pittsburgh
dummy.
finished 15-1, the best record in the league, with Roethlisberger going 13-0 as a starter. And their defense was vintage Steelers, allowing the fewest points in the entire league. And the playoffs didn't disappoint. The Patriots shut down Peyton again, holding the record-setting Colts to only 3 points.
I know that nigga was mad as shit.
Round.
Yo, imagine a nigga beating you so many times when y'all was in y'all primes, and then when y'all get grown, they try to be buddy. Bro, nigga, I'm hitting them with the meanest fuck you in public and behind closed doors, gang. You know how many times you beat me? You know how many times I had to go home to my wife and not get no buns because you wanted to throw for 15 touchdowns in one game, my nigga? You never did that before, but you want to do that against me. No, nigga, I'm not getting no coochie, gang. So I cannot dap you. The fuck?
Rolled through the NFC, and in the AFC title game, the Pats handed Big Ben his first loss in a 41-27 beatdown. Super Bowl 39 had drama. Terrell Owens, for all of his flaws, proved his heart, playing on a broken leg and catching 9 passes for 122 yards.
Yo, tell me this. What other receiver do y'all know has played on a broken leg? Tell me right now. Tell me right now. Nobody can tell me they know a receiver that played on a broken leg. That is crazy.
Tied in the fourth quarter, but Brady stayed calm. And Deion Branch put on a clinic with 11 catches for 133 yards, earning Super Bowl MVP. And Vinatieri, of course, sealed it late. The Patriots were obviously the team of the century to this point. 3 Super Bowls in 4 seasons, and they weren't done yet.
Damn.
The Eagles finally reached the mountaintop, but tumbled down soon after, as T.O. feuded with McNabb. The NFL became pass-happy and flashy in 2004, but the cold-blooded Pats still ran the league. But in 2005, the league temporarily reverted back to its old ways. Passing dipped, games got a little uglier, and at the heart of it all was one very large man on a mission. Let's start with the big picture. Peyton Manning had just come off his record-breaking 2004, but in 2005, the Colts operated in a much more balanced
Just Saturday?
They started 13-0. Beat the hell out of teams and looked like the clear Super Bowl favorite. But Tony Dungy's team still hadn't gotten over that postseason hump. In New England, the Patriots were battered, injuries mounted, and they still won the AFC East, but had cracks in their armor. In Cincinnati, Carson Palmer and Chad Johnson were turning the Bengals into must-see TV. Palmer threw 32 touchdowns, and the Bengals went 11-5. In the NFC, the Eagles fell apart as
who was that? Touchdowns,
and the Bengals went 11-5. In the NFC,
is he still wearing to this day or no? Cause she was some bad shit. I ain't gonna lie. She was. That's good milk. That's good milk.
The Eagles fell apart.
Good milk.
T.O. feuded with McNabb.
Everybody like a good bowl of cereal.
But the Seattle Seahawks became a juggernaut. Sean Alexander ran for almost 1,900 yards, scored 27 touchdowns, and won MVP in one of the best running back campaigns of all time. Matt Hasselbeck played the cleanest football of his career, and their offensive line, anchored by Walter Jones and Steve Hutchinson, was bullying people. the Seahawks earned the top seed in the NFC at 13-3, but the Steelers went about the season a little differently. They barely made the playoffs, finishing 11-5 and getting in as the number 6 seed. Roethlisberger missed time with knee issues. The offense was solid, but the defense was still an elite unit, and they had a clear mission to get Jerome Bettis to the Super Bowl in his hometown of Detroit. And so the run began. They beat the Bengals in the wild card after Carson Palmer tore his ACL.
A team with dedication and a clear and concise goal will always beat a team with better players or a team that has better in skill game. I promise you. These niggas wanted to win for their nigga, so they went on a run and they did that shit. That's swag.
First pass attempt. Then they beat the 14-2 Colts in Indy in a game that included Ben Roethlisberger's game-saving ankle tackle after a near-fatal Bettis goal line fumble, capped off by the Mike Vanderjagt shank. After that, they went to Denver and crushed Jake Plummer's
You know that kicker not getting no Gucci.
Over in the NFC Championship, the Seahawks smoked Carolina, so we got Pittsburgh-Seattle in Super Bowl 40. Which was a weird, flag-heavy game where the referees became part of the story. Big Ben scored a questionable touchdown, and Hasselbeck got flagged for a textbook tackle. And the Seahawks never found rhythm. But the Steelers hit the plays when they needed them. Antoine Randall threw a touchdown to Hines Ward on a reverse pass and closed it out.
Hines Ward was so, bro, the nigga was so bad. I know a lot. I think receivers from back in the day are better than receivers now, bro. Cause you know how many legendary names there are from back in the day? Like, gang, oh my god. Now we got some heaters now. But they still developing. It's like these niggas, it's like you could look back and just see how great they were, but that shit fire.
Ward won MVP and Bettis finally held the Lombardi in Detroit. The Steelers became the first 6 seed to win it all. Bettis retired on the podium, and the officiating controversy became a permanent part of Super Bowl lore. But let's move on to 2006. At this point, Peyton Manning was becoming ridiculed for his annual monster regular seasons, followed by
how do he always fuck up when he get into the playoffs?
Quarterback who couldn't get over
That's the worst thing about a team, like when you can't get into the playoffs.
And Hall of Fame trajectory, but the ring was still missing. New England haunted him, and every year seemed to end with a collapse. But 2006 presented the perfect chance to put that narrative to rest. As for the rest of the league, the NFC got shuffled a bit, and a man named Devin Hester became the best kick returner the world had ever seen.
I ain't gonna lie. Best player the Bears ever produced. Promise you, there's not a singular better player that the Bears have ever had. Facts.
Arguably the most complete team in football, however. They went 14-2, had LaDainian Tomlinson in full-on God mode, rushing for 1,800 yards and scoring a new record 31 touchdowns on his way to the MVP. While Phillip Rivers took over for Drew Brees and excelled. But as we know with the Chargers, the postseason was a different story. In New Orleans, Drew Brees arrived fresh off shoulder surgery and transformed the Saints overnight. With Sean Payton calling the shots and rookie Reggie Bush electrifying the dome,
Drew Brees
the Saints became the heart of a post-Katrina city still putting itself back together.
Even if you don't know how good he was, everybody knows.
Won the NFC South and reached their first ever NFC championship. But the NFC belonged to Chicago. Behind a monster defense, a breakout season from Hester, and Rex Grossman, the Bears finished 13-3. Their Urlacher-led defense was top shelf. Hester was
Brian Urlacher, crazy. Linebackers back in the day were so nice, bro. I'm talking, they were like a different type of nice. Like, they were like a different type of good. Like, linebackers, it's like they just had more, so like you just felt more threatened. Like, gang, imagine having Brian Cushing running at you full speed, gang. You're scared as shit. You're scared as shit when he coming through that gap. You're scared. You're scared, bro. But nowadays, like, all right, Fred Warner, he's scary, but is you scary as Cushing, though? You scary as Cushing, though? Like, be honest. Is he?
Stall with
I don't think so.
Under center was going to be no easy feat. Back in the AFC, the Colts started hot, but dropped 4 of their last 7 games, as their defense was a problem. But once the playoffs hit, something clicked. They beat the Chiefs, outlasted the Ravens, and then finally got another shot at the Patriots. The AFC Championship game became an instant classic. The Patriots went up 21-3, and it looked like the same old story. But Peyton stayed poised and led 5 second-half touchdown drives. Joseph Adai punched in the go-ahead touchdown with a minute left. Final score 38-34 Colts. Peyton had finally slayed the dragon. And Super Bowl 41...
fumbling a 21-3 lead, that conversation in the locker room has gotta feel crazy. Now you gotta feel crazy, gang. Fumbling oh my god, you gotta feel crazy. Mind you, to a team that you beat every single year for years in a row, you gotta feel like a fucking trash can. You have to. There's no way you don't.
Quite the contrast of styles. Devin has to return the opening kickoff for a touchdown, the first time that had ever happened in Super Bowl history. But that was the highlight of the game for Chicago. Manning didn't light it up, but he managed the rain-soaked game to perfection. The Colts established the run, forced turnovers, and the Bears unraveled. Colts 29, Bears 17. Tony Dungy became the first black head coach to win a Super Bowl. Devin Hester
Shout out my
became
black
the legend
man, bro.
despite the loss.
Shout out my black
And
brothers,
Peyton
man.
finally silenced the critics and got the one thing missing on his resume. But in the background, Tom Brady and Bill Belichick were preparing to rewrite the history books in 2000.
You know Tom Brady don't go
After
outside.
Spygate hit in Week 1, the Patriots took it personally and decided to
Is Tom Brady a cheater? Let's ask questions we need to ask. Is Tom Brady a cheater, bro? You know, they got the whole deflated balls, the whole refs, you know, all of that. Is Tom Brady a cheater, bro? Like, these are the questions we need to be asking. I couldn't tell you honestly. Personally, I don't think he's a cheater, but there's a high chance he is.
humiliate the rest of the NFL. In the offseason, the Patriots had added Randy Moss, who had spent the last 2 years buried in Oakland, and Wes Welker, a quietly ascending slot
Wes
receiver
Welker,
imported
little
from
ass,
Miami.
bro, so quick.
That duo, with Brady at the helm, became unstoppable. Brady threw for 50 touchdowns, and Moss caught 23 of them, both NFL records at the time. They finished the regular season 16-0, becoming the first team in NFL history to do that. Along the way, they put up scores of 48, 49, 52, 56, and beat the reigning champion Colts on the road. Their fourth Super Bowl of the decade looks almost automatic. In the NFC, the Cowboys went 13-3 behind Tony Romo, Terrell Owens, and a loaded roster. Up in Minnesota, rookie running back Adrian Peterson broke the single-game rushing record with 296 yards against the Chargers, announcing himself as an instant superstar. But the postseason belonged to the New York Giants, a scrappy 10-6 wildcard team that got hot at the right time. Eli Manning was inconsistent all year, but the defense was ferocious. Michael Strahan, Justin Tuck, and Osi Umenyiora formed a pass-rushing trio
legendary
that
actor
every single week.
and legendary on the field too.
Reached the Super Bowl, including an NFC Championship in Green Bay, so cold that Tom Coughlin's face literally froze mid-game. Then Brett Favre threw a crushing interception in overtime. Giants 23, Packers 20, and the script was set: the best team of all time versus the team that barely made the playoffs, but had actually almost taken them down in the final week of the regular season. And in Super Bowl 42, the Patriots, averaging 37 points per game, were held to just 14. The Giants defense battered Brady all night, and then, down 14-10 with a minute left, Eli Manning became a legend. On 3rd and 5, he escaped what should have been a sack.
I ain't gonna lie. Yo, the feeling that this nigga must have felt with his balls when he escaped the... Let's just run the film back. Let's just run the film back. Look at this shit. Shoulders grabbed. Yo, the lineman, low-key, I don't know if it's L lineman or W lineman because they did low-key say the nigga.
And threw a prayer.
But he wouldn't have been in that. He wouldn't have needed to be saved.
With his helmet. Moments later, Manning hit Plaxico Burress in the corner of the end zone.
Plaxico Burress was so nice.
14, and the undefeated season was dead. The Giants pulled off the greatest upset in NFL history. The helmet catch became
the last time the Giants was good, Odell?
Eli, forever polarizing, joined his brother by getting a ring of his own. The Patriots' quest for perfection collapsed in the final minute, and things would take an even more somber turn in 2008, where the league's biggest star tore his ACL in Week 1. An 11-win team missed the playoffs.
A
37-year-old quarterback who was considered the backup in the offseason nearly won it all. Let's start with the gut punch. Tom Brady, fresh off a 50-touchdown season, tore his ACL 7 minutes into the season opener. Just like that, the Golden Boy was out, and the reins of the juggernaut were thrown into the hands of Matt Castle, a backup who had not started one game since high school. Somehow, he led the Patriots to 11 wins.
Damn.
But they still missed the playoffs in a stacked conference.
That's how you know it's your time. Like, you know it's your time when it's your time. Because, let's be honest, bro. Backup, come on, bro. He shouldn't be a backup leading a team to win 11 games. That's how you knew it was his time, bro. The nigga just had to be overly nice. He came out there, he performed, bro. So kudos to him. Facts.
The AFC East came down to tiebreakers, and the Miami Dolphins, led by Chad Pennington and the suddenly unstoppable Wildcat formation, took the division crown. Peyton Manning quietly added to his legend, winning his third MVP. And this was also the year Brett Favre joined the Jets after his messy Packers divorce,
oh my God,
allowing Aaron Rodgers to finally take over in Green Bay. Meanwhile, Big Ben and the Steelers were back at it once again.
Talk about it.
Their defense, led by Troy Polamalu and Defensive Player of the Year James Harrison, was one of the best of the decade. In the NFC, the Arizona Cardinals woke up. Kurt Warner, resurrected from the backup pile, caught fire. He and Larry Fitzgerald dragged Arizona and its terrible defense.
I didn't even know Kurt Warner was on the fucking Cardinals, bro. So it was him and... Look, I knew Larry Fitzgerald was on the card. Everybody know about Larry Fitzgerald. If you don't know about Larry, you're a bot. But again, I did not know that it was him and Kurt Warner. Like, what? So that's how the nigga... Oh, nah. See, these teams back in the day, it's like everybody... Every team had somebody back in the day. Nowadays, I feel like these teams don't be having nobody. Like the Jets. Who do the Jets have? Okay, Sauce Gardner. But has he even been improving? Sauce Gardner does not look to be improving. I'm cute about it.
To one of the franchise's best seasons ever. Rookie Matt Ryan led the Falcons to an 11-5 season in the post-Michael Vick era. The Panthers pounded the rock with D'Angelo Williams and Jonathan Stewart. And the Vikings, still in quarterback hell, watched Adrian Peterson lead the league in rushing yards and carry the team to a 10-6 finish. But
all it takes is a good running back, bro. I'm telling you.
The Cardinals. And it delivered perhaps the greatest ending in NFL history. First came James Harrison's 100-yard pick six, the longest in Super Bowl history. Then Larry Fitzgerald responded with a slant 64 yards to the house with 2:37 left. The Cards might have it in the bag, but Roethlisberger had one more drive. 8 plays, 78 yards, and one impossible throw into the corner of the end zone.
That toe tap,
Santonio
crazy.
Holmes, tiptoeing the sideline with both feet in, pulled off a toe drag catch for the...
Imagine your toe tap is the one that really, like wins it all for real. Like, that's a different feeling, bro. Because every play that's happened during that drive has led up to this one catch. And if you don't catch it, this whole shit's over.
Ages. Steelers 27, Cardinals 23. Pittsburgh got their 6th ring, more than any other franchise. Holmes won MVP, but Warner and Fitz fell just short in an epic showdown where nobody knew who'd be standing until the final toe tap. But in 2009, the decade was ending with Drew Brees, Brett Favre, and Peyton Manning battling for the throne. The game was more quarterback-driven than ever, and yet the biggest moment of the year came on a special teams play that no one saw coming. It was the year of redemption for New Orleans and the year of revenge for Brett Favre. But let's start in New Orleans. The Saints had minimal success in their history. A franchise
not against Detroit, bro. Come on, y'all gotta chill. Not against Detroit, bro.
But in 2009, that would change. Drew Brees threw for over 4,300 yards and 34 touchdowns. Sean Payton was one of the best play callers in the game.
It's like, I know, when you hear these high-ass numbers, it'd be like, damn, like, you really threw for 34? Some QBs, like, throw for 34 interceptions now, bro. Like, the shit get bad, bro. I be wondering what NFL teams' focus be like when they come to their, like, plan or their schemes. So I wonder what their focus be like. Oh, let's make sure we get him and you know, like, build the Because all you see is just the decisions that they make and then how they happen. But we never see, like, the reasoning behind them and the intent.
Was deafening. The Saints started 13-0 and had the league's top offense. Up in the cold, dark north of Minnesota, Brett Favre came out of retirement once again, this time wearing purple just so he could get back at the Packers. At 40 years old, he was as good as ever, throwing 33 touchdowns and leading the Vikings to a 12-4 record. He went 2-0 versus Green Bay, and it looked like he might get one last ring. Peyton Manning, meanwhile, was still Peyton Manning. He led the Colts to a 14-0 start before they controversially punted the final 2 weeks. Manning won his 4th MVP and had a receiving core of Reggie Wayne, Dallas Clark, and a breakout Pierre Garçon. They looked like the best team in the league, and the playoffs were electric. Favre torched the Cowboys, then lost a war to the Saints in the NFC Championship, a game where the Saints were basically trying to end his life, and he threw a brutal interception with the game tied with seconds left in regulation, allowing New Orleans to win in overtime and advance to the Super Bowl. In the AFC,
that's a crazy feeling. That's gotta be crazy.
And the Jets, and that set the stage for Super Bowl 44, Saints versus Colts. Manning started hot. The Colts went up 10-0, But then came the ambush. Sean Payton opened the second half with a surprise onside kick, flipping momentum and shocking the world. From there, Brees picked the Colts defense apart before the dagger, which came in the form of a 74-yard Tracy Porter pick six. Payton's near-perfect season ended in disappointment, but Brees lifted his son during the confetti after the Saints ended the decade with their first Super Bowl win in franchise history to help heal the city of
first and last, damn near, my nigga.
New Orleans. Thank you for
First
watching, and if you like this video, I think you'll like this one too.
Hold on, chat. We gotta do that one next. But I fuck with this video. Let's clap it up. That's WVids. That's WVids, bro. That's WVids. I ain't gonna lie, bro. The craziest part about that whole video gotta be the fact that Peyton Manning won 4 MVPs, bro. 4 in the span of 9 years. The nigga won 4 MVPs. That's cold, bro. You gotta be a different type of good. You know, some seasons might end in disappointment. When you get the MVP, how much do it really matter? How much do it really matter? Let's be honest, bro. How much do it really matter?